Hey, Coach Candace here with some tips for you and hopefully some helpful insights for you. And please do not take this as I am demonizing or telling you to not eat any of these foods. That is absolutely not the case. The things we'll talk about are wonderful for you, but I just want to drive home the point that one can still exceed their calorie needs. In other words, like still eat too much, even if they are eating things that are generally considered better for you. And this is why portion control still matters. This is why, tracking can often be insightful for you, or again, just taking the time to practice measuring some things, because it can be very eye-opening for you. So I just want to go through some examples here. So again, olive oil, something I use daily that's what I prepare my eggs in. But just the difference like in portion here. So for example, 1 teaspoon is about 40 calories. On the other hand, 1 tablespoon is 120. So you can see like how just even, if you're eyeballing or however you're cooking it, like that can easily add up to some calories that you weren't aware of that you're adding in. And I give the example of baby carrots. Something I enjoy from time to time, and I often used to use a lot as like my pre-workout snack. So for example, 3 ounces of baby carrots is about 35 calories, 8 grams of carbs. On the other hand, if you have a big enough serving, so I use it as an example, 9 ounces here, that's 105 calories and 24 grams of carbs. So if you're someone who needs, let's say approximately 17 to 1800 calories a day, like there's 100 in carrots. Again, I'm not going to tell you not to do that because they are more filling for you, great sources of vitamins, great source of fiber. By all means, eat them, but that doesn't take away that you still need to be mindful of portion size. Similarly, like I kind of pulled up some apples here. So Macintosh, like a medium 3-inch apple, is approximately 95 calories and 25 grams of carbs. Whereas, for example, a Red Delicious apple, which tends to be a little bit bigger, is 125 calories and nearly 30 grams of carbs. And again, like I am not against carbs in any means. They serve a place and a purpose in your entire day. By all means, eat apples. They're great for you, but still understand like the impact on your total day. But I always say, like for an example, like to compare against the other things, like I kind of pulled in here like a bag of like the single size serving of like Lay's potato chips. One of those is 160 calories, so still like way more, but just because it's a little bag doesn't mean it still doesn't have like a bigger impact. And this one here, maybe for the more of like the plant-based folks, but for example, like a half cup of chickpeas, which something I'll often use in my chili because one, like a great source of fiber, but also like another source of protein. But about a half cup of those has 175 calories and nearly 27 grams of carbs. But let's take some healthy, like, I don't even want to say healthy, let's say better, like, I guess you can say healthy, yeah, but something that might be considered like a better choice if you go to Wendy's. Sometimes people see those prepared salads, and I use, for example, like a Wendy's strawberry salad. Many times people think, oh, it's a salad, which yes, again, probably better for you than having the Baconator. But a Wendy's strawberry salad has about 550 calories, wonderful, 41 grams of protein, and 34 grams of carbs. On the other hand here, Wendy's apple chicken salad has 350 calories, 30 grams of carbs, 35 grams of protein. But if you think like, okay, like for someone who may be eating, let's say around 17 to 1800 calories a day, that 550 calorie salad that you have for lunch, again, high in protein, is probably going to help you stay fuller longer. But that's almost like about a third of your calories in that one meal, which again is ultimately fine. And I think I broke that down in a separate video about like how you eat your calories just across the day, it doesn't matter. Just some other examples I kind of had off to the side here, like for example, like a quarter cup of almonds. Again, I won't tell you to not eat almonds. They're wonderful, great source of vitamins for you, great source of healthy fats. But just something to be very mindful of portion with, because about 1 ounce is about 170 calories. So again, like if you're just mindlessly snacking on those, like that can easily add up. And before you know it, maybe easily eaten like 500 to 600 calories. And lastly, I kind of pulled grapes here, something that my daughter's been taking for a snack lately. And I know a lot of people enjoy. But for example, like 3 ounces of those comes out to about 53 calories, 13 grams of carbs. But on the other hand, 9 ounces of those, which again may not take much to add up to because of them being bulky, but you're looking at about 158 calories. So again, like all of those can add up, even though they are healthy and they're wonderful. And I would never not tell anyone to eat any one of these things. But again, on your health journey, your health improvement, whatever it may be, like at the end of the day, calories still matter. And although sometimes it's often harder to overeat on the good stuff, like you still kind of can a little bit. And that's why it's important to be mindful of your portions. For example, I often suggest to folks like to use a measuring cup, or I want to say, like, I love using a food scale. Again, not meant to be something that you do forever and ever, but can be a great tool to use regularly, just for you to learn a little bit more about what like an actual portion size is. Because many times what we think is a portion size, like many times people are just out of touch with that. So see it as a learning opportunity, not so much like, again, like to view those foods negatively, but just for you to have in mind for your own knowledge what an actual portion is. So that's what I would encourage you to do, even for the stuff that is better. Still, again, take a little bit of time just to weigh those out and just have an idea of how much you're really eating, and it can be very insightful. But I hope you found that helpful. By all means, if you have any questions, let me know, and just happy to help. Have a great day.